Queens, New York, October 4th, 2013. This is the troublesome story of a young Avonte Oquendo, 14 years old, who mysteriously disappeared. This is also the story of a man, Prophete Zogo, who used his mysterious gift to help the police to find the missing boy. It all began on October 4th, 2013. Young Avonte Oquendo, 14 years old, is reported missing from his school in Long Island City, Queens. Actually, the missing boy, in spite of his physical age, 14, has in reality the mind of a 7-year-old due to a severe mental condition.
The search continues this evening for a 14-year-old special education student who disappeared from his school in Queens 3 days ago and hasn't been seen since. Surveillance video shows 14-year-old Avonte Oquendo, who we are told is autistic and cannot speak. He's seen running out of the Center Boulevard School in Long Island City shortly before noon on Friday. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang spoke with the boy's mother, and she is live this evening in Long Island City. Lucy?
Well, Sandra, there's been heavy police presence out here and tons of flyers posted since Friday. That's when an autistic student simply left his school and disappeared.
If you see him, can you just call? Thank you.
From one mother to another, it is every parent's worst nightmare, a missing child. Avonte Oquendo is 14 but has the mind of a 7-year-old. He cannot speak, he cannot fend for himself, and he is missing.
I love him so much, and my heart is broke because he's not home. He's not home with us.
12:40 Friday after lunch, Avonte ran out of his school in Long Island City. As you see in the surveillance video, he simply ran out the door. His frantic mother tells me he is supposed to be given one-on-one supervision all the time. Where was his teacher? Where was the guard at the door? For now, the family says those questions can wait. First and foremost, they need to find Avonte.
He just doesn't know how to say, help me. He doesn't know how to say, I'm lost or hungry, you know, so I need someone to help me find home.
At 1-800-577-TIPS.
Police have searched. Relatives have searched, but so far no sign of the gentle boy. It's been 2 days now with no food, no water, no loving home. He weighs only 90 pounds.
Avonte, I love you so much, and we're looking for you, and we're not going to give up until we find you.
Like any other kid, Avonte loves candy and video games, but unlike other 14-year-old boys, he cannot even say his name or cry out for help. So if you see this sweet boy, his mother is pleading with the public, please do the right thing and call the police. We're live in Long Island City tonight. Lucy Yang, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
New developments tonight in the search for Avonte Oquendo, the 14-year-old with autism who has been missing now for a week and a half. Not only are police stepping up their search in the area near where the boy disappeared, they're also spreading their search area even wider, even out of the tri-state area. Pix 11's James Ford is live in Long Island City with the very latest, as well as some surprising analysis from an expert. Hi, James.
And Tamsin, thank you. You are about to see again that surveillance video of this teen running away from his special needs school. That school is right here on the water in Long Island City. And to the right of that tree, that's the surveillance camera that captured the image of Avonte Oquendo running out of that door and then running under that scaffolding. And where he went from there is anyone's guess. Cases like it. Significant police response at the Columbus Circle subway stop this morning after somebody reported seeing 14-year-old Avonte Oquendo there. No result. But that reaction and this. An air and river search near the place in Long Island City where the boy went missing October 4th, and a massive information effort and foot search by additional street officers are all part of a stepped-up effort by police to find the teen who has autism and is mute.
It's affecting us more than I can say on the camera. If this was our son, you know, what would we be doing differently?
That's the word from the chief of the whole police department, clearly an expert on law enforcement, who says the same thing as an expert with experience with children like Avonte.
I had an autistic student who did run away from home. And as strange as it sounds, he also had the impairments that this individual had. And He eventually came back. As long as he has the ability just to survive, to be able to go to the bathroom, to be able to eat, and to be able to get some kind of sleep, there's still a part of me that I strongly believe that he's still out there.
Dr. Buzz Ornsteiner is also a criminal psychologist who does not fear the worst for Avonte, but agrees with the boy's family that he may be a victim of an abduction after he ran away from school.
He's not going to have the ability to escape. He doesn't have the cognitive ability in terms of coping skills and strategies.
Just let him go. Drop him off at a church or a public place. I mean, he means no harm to anyone. I mean, he can't even tell anyone where you live or who you are.
And behind me here, not one but two chiefs on scene and a command post. This is all just tip of the iceberg of the massive effort that is out here. Police convinced this is the time, the crunch time, to step efforts up to ensure that this is a rescue mission and that it doesn't have to become a recovery mission. Right now, reporting live from Long Island City, Queens, I'm James Ford, Pix 11 News. Back to you now. All right.
Thousands of American families still have faith and hope that the boy is still alive. According to certain speculations, perhaps the boy is the victim of an abduction. Police officers sincerely feel that the young child might have been snatched and is being held against his will. The entire nation is in prayer, strongly hoping that the boy is still alive somewhere and eventually will be rescued. The child does not have the capability or knowledge to even try and escape if he were to be in such a situation. In the midst of all this, Avonte's brother and cousin appear in the media expressing their pain and grief. They refuse to give up hope. They fight to hold on to the idea of young Avonte still being alive. In a TV interview on CNN with Piers Morgan, Avonte's mother shares her thoughts. No matter how hard the circumstances are, she still believes that her boy is alive.
It's every parent's nightmare, Vanessa, and obviously we're just desperate to try and get your son back. Do you believe in your heart after all this time that he's still alive?
Yes, I do.
What do you think has happened to him? What do you feel in your gut?
I feel that someone has him. They're holding him because there's not a surveillance tape around that shows him at all, not in a train station, not walking in the street, anywhere.
He loved the subway, and so that's why you've been recording these messages for the subway. If he was down there, with all the attention it's now received, do you believe that he would have been discovered now? Is that why you feel he must have been taken against his will?
Yes.
Before I do anything else, there's been a lot of talk about that, and I'll answer that. I wanted to thank the police department and the entire community and members of the press who are getting his name out there, getting his picture out there. The efforts are unprecedented and heroic.
And on social media, it's been extraordinary. I mean, everyone tweeting about it and just trying to find him.
It's
crucial. Vanessa, if by any chance he's able to watch this interview, either now or when it's replayed, perhaps tomorrow, or somebody who's holding him, as you believe, is watching it, what would your message be, first to Avonte and then to perhaps somebody who may be holding him?
My message to my son is that I love him and we're going to find him. You'll come home to your family. And for anyone who has him, please be kind and to let him go. Bring him, to somewhere. I don't care if it's a fast food restaurant, a fire department, police station, just, drop him there.
Welcome back. I'm Kaidi Tong. It's another sleepless night for the Oquendo family. The 16th night with still no sign of their 14-year-old autistic boy. The search for Avonte is growing now beyond the boroughs. Pix 11's Ellen Marks has the latest.
Kaidi, a national search group that has been involved in many high-profile missing children cases, has now been called in to help find Avonte Oquendo. And they say this particular search presents an extraordinary challenge.
Down here, I would like to say that we could pull off some miracle, but you know what? This is a different type of search.
Tim Miller is the founder and director of Texas EquiSearch, a search and recovery organization. Miller, who's worked on the high-profile Natalie Holloway and Casey Anthony cases, is now involved in the disappearance of Avonte Oquendo, who was last seen leaving school on October 4th.
This is a bigger challenge than in Aruba and Natalie Holloway. It's certainly a bigger challenge than Kaylee Anthony in Florida. I mean, Casey was a suspect in the beginning. We had all the phone records and cell towers and different things. There was areas in Florida, in Orlando, where we could put 150 ground searchers doing things. We don't have that here. We don't have it. I mean, walking up and down streets, we can't knock on every door.
And Miller praised the NYPD and volunteers for their efforts, saying they've done everything possible. He believes Avonte may well have hopped on a train and is no longer in the New York area. Katie?
After weeks of search, still no news of Avonte. On the date of November 1st, 2013, the search for Avonte Oquendo will have a brand new development. One man named Prophet Zogo, who travels the world conducting public conferences, decides to join the search by using his mysterious gift of prophecy. Prophet Zogo, who at the time is the guest speaker at a conference in a local church in the Bronx, the Lion of Judah Assembly, decides to utilize the Avonte Oquendo case to demonstrate his inexplicable ability. Police believe that young Avonte ran away toward the city. A week after the child's disappearance, the police expand their search by going outside the tri-state area. Choppers scatter around the city in search of any sign leading to young Avonte. Thousands of American families still have faith and hope that the boy is still alive. According to certain speculations, perhaps the boy is the victim of an abduction. Police officers sincerely feel that the young child might have been snatched and is being held against his will. The entire nation is in prayer, strongly hoping that the boy is still alive somewhere and eventually will be rescued.
I'm going to retrace the route, the itinerary, from the start.
It's not inside here. I know the family.
No, they
packed up this morning.
I'm just tracing this.
He's trying to trace him. He's an intuitive.
Oh.
And he's trying to.
So you want to go in the building?
Oh,
okay, got you. Oh, okay.
He's trying to feel it.
Okay, got you. I understand.
And to the amazement of those who are present, Prophet Zogo, using his gift, succeeds to trace the missing boy's itinerary on the day he vanished. You can see in this video, taken on November 1st, 2013, around 5 p.m., how Prophet Zogo, surrounded by witnesses, is tracing the boy's complete itinerary, using the boy's photograph as a point of contact. What is the key behind this? Is it true what Prophet Zogo is doing? Is it fake? Does Prophet Zogo really sense the boy? If he does, how is it possible? What is the nature of this power? So many questions and not even a single answer. But the facts are there. Step by step, move by move, breath by breath. Prophet literally seems to incarnate Avonte Oquendo. All the witnesses present are in shock. Obviously, they never saw that before. To the amazement of those who are present, Prophet Zogo, using his gift, succeeds to trace the missing boy's itinerary on the day he vanished. You can see in this video, taken on November 1st, 2013, around 5 p.m., how Prophet Zogo, surrounded by witnesses, is tracing the boy's complete itinerary, using the boy's photograph as a point of contact. What is the key behind this? Is it true what Prophet Zogo is doing? Is it fake? Does Prophet Zogo really sense the boy? If he does, how is it possible? What is the nature of this power? So many questions and not even a single answer. But the facts are there. Step by step, move by move, breath by breath, Prophet literally seems to incarnate Avonte Oquendo. All the witnesses present are in shock. Obviously, they never saw that before.
He's fascinated by water.
Do you know if he knows how to swim?
Doesn't know. Doesn't know. Now, for the time being, I'm not assuming he threw himself. At this time, I don't know if he did throw himself into the water. For the time being, I don't know yet. I'm just tracing his route.
I understand.
The itinerary, okay?
I understand.
He sat down here like this for a while, okay? Playing like this. He came back. Here for a while, he was still playing. Then he came. Playing a little bit here, just a little bit.
Is he getting tired?
Pardon?
Is he getting tired
No.
Is he hungry?
He was playing. Okay. He's a boy. He's a kid.
Okay.
Prophet Zogo, who travels the world conducting public conferences, decides to join the search by using his mysterious gift of prophecy. Prophet Zogo, who at the time is the guest speaker at a conference in a local church in the Bronx, the Lion of Judah Assembly, decides to utilize the Avonte Oquendo case to demonstrate his inexplicable ability.
He entered here all the way. He stayed there for a while playing. He came back over there.
He came somewhere down there, right? But I don't know. What I'm saying,
He jumped like that.
Be careful.
He jumped like that.
Please be careful. Be careful.
Sat down for a while, contemplating water. Now, from this point, I don't know. From here, I don't know what next.
You don't feel his energy moving from here?
Now, the problem is, to be honest, I am afraid of the worst. And sometimes when you are afraid, it can block yourself emotionally to sense what next. Because I still have hope that we're gonna find him somewhere alive. But the last time where he's been here, he did not go to the city. He did not go to any bus, any train station, any store. He was not on the street as you see in the newspapers. I mean, that's why no camera finds him anywhere. That's why.
Do you feel that he walked into the water?
I beg your pardon?
Do you feel that he may have walked into the water?
Well, I need few minutes to put myself together, and I will tell you for sure if he went through the water. I will tell you, I just need few minutes because...
Take your time and replenish yourself.
Because of...
He could have also gone up from here, no?
No, he didn't.
He didn't go anywhere?
No! He did not.
And you don't think somebody saw him and came and took him?
Well, look, if someone is here...
All the witnesses present are in shock. Obviously, they never saw that before. Finally, after using his gift to trace the young boy's steps, Prophet Zogo releases his terrifying prophecy. Avonte, the missing boy, has not been kidnapped. Rather, he left school, he went to play by the riverside, where he accidentally fell in the East River and was drowned.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm going to tell you what I saw. When I was there, when I was sitting there, actually, he went to the water. He went to the water. He played there.
went to the water, and some areas where, not far from here, he was playing, and then it was an accident actually, and he drank some water. All this.
He drank?
Yes. He drank some water again and again. Nobody was there to help him. He can't talk. He can't cry for help. And he died right here. And the problem is that this river moves. It's not static. It's not stable. And the water took his body somewhere else. Now, actually he's dead to be. I don't want to fake it. He's dead. They will find his body. They will find his body. The problem is they don't find his body because they don't look around here. They look in the city. In
Where
subways.
should they look here? Where should they look for his body?
I need to know
The names.
Where this river goes. Where? I don't know.
Let me show you on an iPhone. Let me show you the water. How the geography is.
Show me, please. Show me. But they will find a body anyway.
Soon? Years, months, weeks?
No, the problem is that they don't.
They're not
even
looking.
Look here.
Yeah, we don't see.
That's you know, all the searchers are in the city, and even some think that maybe he's detained somewhere in an apartment. So they don't even think, that, they have to look, on beaches, and around, the water area. Nobody thinks that. And that's why the body has not yet found, but they will find the body. And the body will be identified that this is the missing. I don't know if the police can listen to me, and
I can go and tell them.
please, if they listen, fine. If they don't, at least I would have tried. If they could direct their searches, by the water.
With this shocking discovery, the prophet, along with the witnesses escorting him, took it upon himself to supply the police with this information. Upon arrival at the police station, the prophet begins telling a police officer from beginning to end Avonte Oquendo's journey to the East River. The prophet sadly explains that unfortunately, young Avonte had perished. Due to no logical proof, it was quite difficult for police officers to comply with the prophet's request of heading towards the river. Globally, searches were not thoroughly conducted near the rivers, but instead remained in the cities, subway areas, and even out of state. In this video, taken by one of the witnesses, you can see Prophet Zogo pleading with the police officer, trying to convince him that the missing child Avonte is dead, drowned, and his body is presently inside the East River.
So go to the city, but he crossed the street. And he went to, I traced what he has been doing, what he was doing. And
you gotta come in?
To make a long story short, there is a place by the water. He stopped, and for a while he was playing there alone. Actually, he used to play alone. His family
family, they can confirm.
Was he stopped or was he parking?
He used to play. He was playing along by the water.
In spite of Prophet Zogo's revelations, the law enforcement officer, in the absence of a logical explanation, doesn't believe Prophet Zogo's report. Later on, Prophet succeeds to get 2 NYPD detectives to follow him to the East River. After the first 15-minute search, due to the dark, it was already 8 p.m. They were supposed to meet again to continue the search with Prophet Zogo's guidance. 2 days after, when Prophet Zogo goes back to the police station, the same police officers have changed their mind and refuse to continue by the East River. Prophet Zogo's attempts to convince the police to come with him to the East River will remain unsuccessful. At last, Prophet Zogo, unable to get the police's full cooperation, decides to stop his involvement in Avonte Oquendo's disappearance. The big question is, can we really blame the police? Probably not. They work with logical explanations. But Prophet Zogo's revelations have no logical ground. Prophet Zogo seems to work with a power scientifically unknown. However, surprisingly, only 2 months after the non-cooperation of the New York Police, Avonte Oquendo's body was found, dead, drowned, in the East River in New York. Exactly as Prophet Zogo had predicted.
Now to a developing story out of Queens. Police are on the scene where human remains have been found, and they believe they may be that of Avonte Oquendo, the autistic teen who's been missing for 3 months. Hanan Kamal has been following this story throughout the day and has the very latest.
Last night's discovery of human remains led to a massive search effort off the waters of College Point, just east of the Whitestone Bridge. The remains, which included an arm and legs, have been moved to the Queens County Morgue and the medical examiner's office. David Persimmon, attorney for the missing teen's mother, tells us the personal belongings that were also discovered along the shore are pointing towards Avonte.
It's a size 5.5 Nike Jordan sneakers and a size 16 jeans, which are both what Avonte was wearing on the day he left.
But Persimmon tells us at this point his mother does not believe the remains are those of her sons.
Her initial reaction was, until I hear more and see more, there's been a lot of bad leads. She's being a mom.
Residents in this normally quiet Rego Park neighborhood disturbed by the recent revelations.
I pray that it's not his, and I'm really sorry to hear that. And no matter what neighborhood you live in, these things are happening much too often, and it's terrifying.
Investigators say the whole process of DNA testing can be quite time-consuming, so it may be several days before the medical examiner reaches a conclusion regarding the age or sex of the victim, or even makes a positive DNA match. In Rego Park, Hanan Kamal, Files 1 News.
The remains are decomposed, so there really are no similarities, except it's a size 5.5 Nike Jordan sneakers and a size 16 jeans, which are both what Avonte was wearing on the day he left, which are troubling things to hear.
The clothing and the human remains were found just down below from where we're standing, close to the water. You can see a Zodiac boat with divers. The tide has rolled in, so they are in the water searching for more remains at this hour. They're using special gloves because of the extremely cold temperatures. Visibility right now, only about 1.5 feet. It's called a grid search. Inch by inch, the dive team wades through the East River looking for human remains. Near the rocky, marshy spot where police found an arm, legs, and sneakers, cadaver canines try to pick up the scent. The search in the shadows of the Whitestone Bridge is exhaustive and tedious. Zodiacs ferry more divers to assist. They look under these old abandoned docks, moving through deep, cold, and murky waters for clues.
DNA test results now confirm the human remains found last week in Queens are those of missing autistic teen Avonte Oquendo.
Dan Bowens is live in Midtown for us with more on this just tragic story, Dan.
Derry and Ernie were outside the offices of the family attorney. He says for more than 3 months this family has searched and they have prayed. Avonte Oquendo's mother, Vanessa, never gave up hope. But today, when detectives from the New York City Police Department visited her at her home, she simply broke down in tears.
What is the key behind this? Is it true what Prophet Zogo is doing? Is it fake? Does Prophet Zogo really sense the boy? If he does, how is it possible? What is the nature of this power? So many questions and not even a single answer. But the facts are there. Finally, after using his gift to trace the young boy's steps, Prophet Zogo releases his terrifying prophecy. Avonte, the missing boy, has not been kidnapped. Rather, he left school, he went to play by the riverside, where he accidentally fell in the East River and was drowned. The big question is, can we really blame the police? Probably not. They work with logical explanations. But Prophet Zogo's revelations have no logical ground. Prophet Zogo seems to work with a power scientifically unknown. However, surprisingly, only 2 months after the non-cooperation of the New York Police, Avonte Oquendo's body was found, dead, drowned, in the East River in New York. Exactly as Prophet Zogo had predicted. How did Prophet Zogo know Avonte Oquendo's fate? The answer is yours.